Daryl, awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, Jeff.
This is it's such an honor. It's so cool. It's um
The honor's mine.
oh, thank you so much for doing this.
Of
And I
course.
gotta ask, like right off the bat, how does it feel? Like just all the positive response and reaction to seeing you come back to the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid series.
Yeah, it's amazing. I, I can't believe it, because the first, the original Karate Kid movie, the OG movie, 41 years ago now, or yeah, 41 years ago, and kind of like did nothing in the industry for that whole time. you know? So a couple things here and there, but didn't do much around. I've always been teaching martial arts, so that part has never left. So I still teach and train 2 nights a week. And but then with Cobra Kai coming back, it's like, oh wow, look at. I wonder if they'd ever have me back, and I knew everything when that was happening because uh, before they even started production, they had to get permission from people in the original movie, where they were going to use some of our scenes. So I knew back in 2015, 2016, probably that it was going into production. And I even sent them videos of me sparring and say, hey, look, I still train. And I even look like Mr. Miyagi now. But nothing ever happened, and then so they had the one scene in season one, and then season two, they mentioned my name. So it was like, how these guys, they know I'm here. They know how to get a hold of me. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it's just amazing. It was unknown to me until they were already in production of season 6. So
Yeah, because they kept referencing you, they had like lots of references, and you know, from like as a Cobra Kai fan, like a lot of these fans, they were like, "When's Daryl gonna show up?" There was this one guy on YouTube, and he like kind of almost like went through like all the backstory and like all the references to you, and he's like, "I'm pissed off. Daryl is not in this show yet." And then
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
when you showed up, it was just like, yes, he's back.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It was like I got the call, and I didn't know. I don't know anything. I don't know what season 6 is about. And then from what I gather, they don't really tell you anything. They start sending me scripts and stuff, and I say, okay, looks like I'm in the last episodes, and then find out the position. It's like, oh, so such a classic way to bring Vidal back, So it's just crazy. Center Judge.
Oh, yeah. And, speaking of like Karate Kid, that's coming back in theaters. Did you,
I saw that, I saw a big poster that said they was going to re-release, but I checked around my town in California, and I never saw it, so I don't know what that was all about.
oh, I don't know if it's back yet. I don't know. If
Oh,
it did, I missed it. But, um, yeah. But speaking of Karate Kid, the fight was Zabka, the
right
Johnny
there.
Lawrence fight. Dude,
That's it behind me.
yeah, dude, the tornado kick. Is that what you did? Like, would you call that
Yeah.
like a tornado? Dude,
Yeah, there's different names for it. Tornado kick, fan kick, butterfly kicks, but something you would never do fighting.
oh. But I mean, I gotta say that is one of my all-time favorite tornado kicks. It looks beautiful. I mean, it didn't hit him, but it looked it
No,
looked amazing.
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I said, it was something you would never do really in a sparring match, but uh, that was why they brought me into the movie to do, a bunch of crazy stuff.
Uh, and You and a guy, Matt Mullins. You know who Matt Mullins is?
Yeah. Matt Mullins is one of the stunt coordinators, stunt doubles for like Billy Zabka.
And I think you and him have my favorite tornado kicks.
Okay.
And it like just so happened that he was like the stunt coordinator for like Zabka, but I was like a fan of him because he did like Kamen Rider. He
Oh,
did a
I
lot.
don't know what that is.
A Kamen Rider. It's like a Japanese show, and then
Okay.
yeah, it's like a Power Rangers type
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
He did that, so I was like a big fan. But
Okay.
you and him, my favorite tornado kicks of all
Well,
time.
like I said, I met him, in the production of the last three, and he was Billy Zabka's stunt double, and so I was around him a lot because for the whole final fight between Zabka and Lewis Tan, they he was the stunt double, so they would come in and do all the more difficult moves, the getting hit and stuff, falling down.
Oh man, that's so cool. And also, Karate Kid stuff, man. I was on YouTube last night, and I've seen like it looked like a rehearsal for like a fight with you and
Mhm.
Chad
Yeah,
McQueen.
yeah, that's great. It was a rehearsal. The director John Avildsen videotaped everything. So when we were rehearsing, he'd have just like remember those old video camcorders? He had one up there, and they were just shooting handheld for a lot of the same scenes, so you could actually see that everything that we did was fully choreographed. But they had that scene that we kind of mocked up where I fight Dutch. And it was cool. I don't know if you really see it, but I did a double kick. So it was like, it was a good kick, And then he responded. That was kind of like the whole setup. And it looked great, but then they wanted him to lose to Ralph. So that scene basically never got filmed.
Um, do you have any sort of like Zabka or McQueen stories from Karate Kid? Or did you really not really hang out with them too much?
Well, actually, we hung around for 6 weeks in the summer of '83 as they were preparing, because Zabka and the rest of the guys, except for Ron Thomas, weren't karate guys. They weren't martial artists. So we trained together. I was brought in to kind of be myself, but to train with them as if we were kind of a class, but I wasn't a Cobra Kai per se. And then so I got to hang with them quite a bit and got to know them. And Chad, to me, at the time I was 20 years old, I was the most starstruck of Chad because of Steve McQueen. I was like, "You're Steve McQueen's son! Oh my god!" And he was just, he just took it on stride. He was down to earth, and he was kind of a cool cat. But did get to know Billy Zabka pretty well, and all the guys that were the Cobra Kai. Uh, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so Ron Thomas, I don't know if you know, he's the guy that played Bobby Brown. He is a real black belt and was back then. So we kind of connected, and because I figured out he didn't tell anybody, but I kind of knew that he was a martial artist also. So he and I still hang out. He actually lives kind of near me, and we do some stuff together, like golf.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And Pat Morita, man, you know, kind of like doubling for Pat. I mean, I love Pat. Pat just hilarious, man. Like just such an awesome stand-up comic. Uh, do you have any Pat jokes? Was he
Yeah, he was as funny as he was in Happy Days. If you remember Happy Days
yeah.
and Arnold, that was, to me, that was Pat Rita. And when you were around him, back then we're talking the mid '80s, late '70s, early '80s. There was still a lot. There were not a lot of Asians around. So uh, when we met, he kind of took me under his wing as kind of like nephew or something, just for the time that we were there. So he was really a cool guy. Very funny. Didn't know any martial arts. So all the stuff that you see him do is done by Fumio Demura, except for the crane kick, which was me. Now, let me ask you a question. When did you find out that wasn't him and it was me that doing the crane technique?
Okay. So I think probably the first time I watched it, I probably knew it wasn't him. Because I mean,
That makes sense.
you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. Probably like in the last, probably like maybe like 5 years, I probably learned that who it was.
Right. Because I wasn't given any credit for it. If you look in the cast, it lists my name as semifinalist, and that's it. And so it wasn't until they came out with a 20-year anniversary edition where they had a director and the actors had a commentary, and they're talking over during the film. And when that scene comes on, they said, "Oh, there's Darryl. He was a good guy. he was blah blah blah." And I'm like, finally, finally, I can prove that was me.
But what did you think of like seeing that kind of like that crane kick like throughout like through like parodies, through like other movies and stuff?
Oh,
Is
it's
that kind of
wild. It's absolutely wild. It because back then, you don't set out to. You never think that these things are something like this going to happen. Um, Movies in the '80s, all kinds of movies came out in the '80s, right? Ghostbusters in the same time frame, and Goonies, and there's so many memorable movies. But for some reason, the Karate Kid kept getting played and played and played, and then they came, 2 and 3, and then they'd have a Karate Kid marathon, and so it's like, yeah, they keep showing the movie, so it kind of had its own fandom over a long period of time. But the fact that the crane kick became so iconic, it's almost like overused to say it, but like I said, I couldn't even prove that was me for 20 years, So I have seen every kind of, somebody doing the crane kick here, or, in a sports event, the guy makes a touchdown and does a crane kick, or just all kinds of stuff that just so funny to see.
right on.
Yeah.
So like in like the Karate Kid, going by like your actual name, like was that sort of your choice or was it
You know what? It was just as a whim, I think, because um, I had been with them training. They had the script. I have a very early script, but it was after I came on board, and they just used my name. And then at a certain point, they were changing people's names. Like the early script that I have, Daniel's name is Daniel Weber, and Johnny's name is Donald Rice, and they had my name as Vidal, Darryl Vidal. So I assumed it would all get changed at a certain point, and then at the end they didn't change my name, and they put it up on the scoreboard. I'm going, yeah, that's me. I play myself.
Oh, that's so cool. And
It's
coming
crazy.
back to that Cobra Kai, coming onto the Cobra Kai set, like how was that? Like being, was that kind of like the first time you were kind of like reunited with a lot of the
No,
Karate Kid cast?
I I after 20 years and after 30 years, there were all these different events that would happen, and I would see Johnny or Billy, or even Ralph. I had seen a couple times over the years. So every kind of 4 or 5 years, I'd see them. And so when I came back, they were all in Atlanta, for full production of the last final episodes, and it's like we never left off. It's like, hey, how you doing? Great to see you guys. And they're good guys. I don't, pretty much everybody says that about Ralph, but especially about Billy. Is just a really nice guy. Uh, cool to talk to, and you know, athletic, even at our age, we're getting up in age, and but he's still in really good shape. And so is Ralph. So yeah, they were really cool. So I'll tell you what blew my mind though is meeting all the younger actors of Cobra Kai and the creators, obviously the big three. These guys are huge fans of the Karate Kid, so they were kind of, I'm trying to stay humble, but they're kind of like nerding out on me because it's like, hey, you're the current, the creator of the Karate Kick, and it's like, yeah, you're the big three. I'm fanning out on all those guys, and meeting Jolo and Peyton List and everybody, Tanner, pretty much everybody. And yeah, so and they're also nice. They're nice people. They're fun to hang out with. Because you're spending long hours there. Sitting around. So yeah, it was quite an experience, great memory. Something that happened 40 years ago, then it happened again last year, and who knows what now.
Oh man. Um, do you have like sort of like a favorite memory from working on the Karate Kid or
The old
Cobra
one?
Kai?
Well, obviously for both of them, but if I was to talk about the Karate Kid one, uh, of course, 40 years ago, right? You weren't even alive yet, right?
No.
And so I'm 60 now, 61. I was 20. uh, Mind blown. I don't know anything about Hollywood, and now I'm in the middle of a full-on Hollywood production with, I didn't know who these people were because it's not like Ralph was famous beforehand, but obviously Pat Morita, and then the director being the director of Rocky, which had won an Oscar. So just my big memory is doing that final fight with Johnny right there that I have behind me. And when they did that, the stands were full of people all the way around, 360 degree. There were cameras everywhere. And the cameras were even behind the stands shooting through the people. And then they had a camera overhead, and a slow-mo camera was like way down by my feet. And back then nothing was digital, so they're shooting everything at the same time. They're going like camera one, camera two, 8 cameras shooting, and then we do run through it, and that's my greatest memory is just being in the middle of that, and then a year later seeing it up on the big screen. You never realize how big your head can be when you're seeing yourself on a giant screen. So yeah, that's my big thing on Karate Kid, and then on Cobra Kai, just the whole thing. I mean, being the center judge, if you're a Karate Kid fan, that's Pat Johnson. We became pretty close over that time, so I always loved and respected him. After that time, we only saw each other a few times, but he always was, genuine and nice, and so kind of a lot of what I'm doing there is just copying, how Pat Johnson would have done it. So that's my great memory about Cobra Kai.
Oh man, that's so cool. And you haven't really done too many other movies, but on your IMDb, I don't know how much you can talk about it, but there's a new movie coming out, Rise of the Dragon,
Yeah,
and it has Rothrock in it, Cynthia Rothrock.
yeah,
I mean, come on, that's pretty cool, man.
yeah.
Right?
It's early in the project, but I'm signed on. Cynthia is. There's a couple other people that you'll probably end up knowing on it, and more to come.
Right on. That's so
Yeah.
cool, though, man. Like, you get to work with Rothrock, man.
I've known Cynthia for many years because of going to events at Comic Cons and Dragon Fest. So yeah, we're always bumping into each other, and yeah, I haven't done a project with her, so it'll be cool.
All right, on. And
Yeah.
then you got your own what Vital Kempo.
Well, I teach karate. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole time I've been teaching here where I live in Murrieta, California, for 35 years. And over those 35 years, I've ascended all the way to the 10th degree from my instructor. So yeah, still doing that.
All right, on, man. That's so cool. And yeah, man, that's pretty cool. So uh, did you after the Karate Kid, did you want to go into like more martial arts movies, or
You
did you
know,
kind of?
I thought about you know, when I was younger, I always thought gonna wanted to be the next Bruce Lee. You know, I'm gonna be the next Bruce Lee. I haven't got all these skills, and of course, I didn't know how. And then the fact that I got pulled into the Karate Kid is totally a fluke. So, but here now I'm there, and I didn't get an agent because I didn't really know how, and you know, nothing else really kind of fell into my lap. So I kind of said, I don't see anything coming out here, so I'm just gonna go back to college and then start a life, get married. Like so, it's like nothing happened. Still teaching karate.
Well, I mean, if Cobra Kai has taught like anything, I mean, it's never too late. I mean, looks like you got a new movie coming out, so
Yep, anything can happen, right?
yeah, yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Jeff, great meeting you.
It was so cool, such an honor. When you came back on that screen, I was like, yes, and I think everybody else was.
Well,
Everybody else was
it's funny
happy.
because in the world, right, and then the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe, there's only really hardcore fans who know who Vidal is. So I've met so many people like you who do know who I am, and I appreciate that because you guys are such great fans. You've always treated me so well, but yeah, I,
Oh,
I appreciate it.
there's a ton of videos on YouTube about like would Vital beat this person? Have you like have you like
I've
searched?
seen some of them, yeah,
Yeah,
especially on TikTok. There's
yeah.
TikTok. I'm not barely on TikTok, but I know that if I search my name, there's all kinds of stuff up there. You couldn't even see it all.
Yeah, you got a bit. There's a pretty big fan base for you and your character in Karate Kid and Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
And
well, never would have known that it happened that way.
yeah, all right, man. Well, thank you so much for doing
You're
this. Thank you so
welcome.
much for your time. This has been
Well,
so
I
awesome.
thank you and all the fans that you talk to, and hopefully, if anybody, I don't know where are you at anyway? Where?
I okay. So, and I wrote this down because in an interview you said you liked the movie Above the Law with
Oh
Steven
yeah,
Seagal.
I
Um,
did.
I'm I'm in Lansing, Michigan, which is
Okay,
where Steven Seagal was born.
okay, all
Um,
right. Lansing, Michigan. All right, I know where that is.
and Pat Morita actually lived in Detroit for a little bit, so
Okay, well
you
there
know,
you go. Yeah.
yeah, actually wrote that in my notes that Seagal was born here because it's kind of
It's
cool.
relevant. Yeah, it's relevant. Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, I don't know. If we're gonna say something about that or.
I don't know. I
Oh no,
can't.
what I was gonna say is, if people, like if anything I can do to help out, like if you have a charity or a nonprofit or something, and anything that I could help on, uh, let me know. I can do a video or send a message to somebody if it would help something out.
Yeah, dude, that's so wonderful, man. So great, man. So cool. All right. Well, thank you so much
Yep.
for doing this. This has been so cool. You're fantastic. You're
Okay. Well,
awesome.
let me do a couple of things.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
First of all, I just released a book. I just published a new book.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's it called?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've written a lot of books actually. I've got like 10 books, but they're all in my career area, which is technology and school and education. But my newest book is called MindCraft, not Minecraft, but MindCraft, and it's about education and AI and AI taking over education. So it's kind of like a techno thriller, kind of like a Hunger Games, Ready Player One type of story. It's available now. You can either see it by, going to my website, or it's on Amazon. It's called MindCraft. Just type in my name and you'll find it. But yeah, that's my big thing right now is I'm trying to promote that book, and if your fans are into sci-fi and artificial intelligence, please read my book. You can contact me on Facebook with Vidal Kempo, and on Instagram I'm Darryl Vidal. Just put it in my name. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll link that up, man. I'll link it up. I'll check it out, man. I definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's great. MindCraft.
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 Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
Kind of a
fantastic.
takeoff on the big game, obviously. That's the whole thing is kind of a one-off of.
Oh, okay. So like, when everybody was in or I guess they're still in the Minecraft, the game.
Right.
I thought they were talking Minesweeper.
Right. I didn't even know. No.
Like
But
you remember Minesweeper for like the
yeah.
I was like, man, everybody's into this Minesweeper game.
Well, I'm going like everybody's into this Minecraft. I said, I think I'm going to write a book. I'm going to call it Mindcraft.
Oh,
So that's what it is.
I love it, man. I'll
Yeah.
check it out, man.
All right, check
And
it
it's
out,
on
please.
your website.
It's
You
on my
said?
website. Yeah. Here's the little thing, Minecraft.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think the blue. Oh, there we go. There you go. Perfect. Awesome. I dig it, man. I dig it.
Yeah. So tell all your friends. It's only $3.95 on Kindle. So.
Oh, right on.
Super cheap, man.
Right on, man. Well,
all right, Jeff.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. Anything I can do, let me know.
All right. Right on, man. All right.
Talk to you soon. Bye.